And we are watching for the next moves in a major escalation of tensions between North Korea and the West. People in Japan were told to scramble for cover when North Korea test-fired an intermediate-range ballistic missile over Japanese territory. Now, this was the scene outside a Tokyo subway station as the alarm went off during this morning's rush hour. Train service temporarily halted in the northern part of the country while the missile was in flight. It's the first time a ballistic missile has flown over Japan in 5 years. Chris Gilbert has more on today's missile test from Tokyo.
Well, a very shocking and alarming start to the day for everyone in Japan, but especially those living in the northern part of the country. They woke up to sirens and government emergency alerts warning them to find shelter because a North Korean missile was flying overhead. Planes were cancelled, and so were trains. And people here are quite used to receiving alerts on their phone and hearing sirens in the case of natural disasters, not so much in the case of intercontinental missiles. The missile itself traveled 3,000 kilometers beyond Japan's coast and crash landed in the Pacific Ocean, but it traveled 4,500 kilometers. That is the furthest any North Korean missile has ever traveled, signaling Japan believes that North Korea is trying to show the world that its missiles can now reach the US military base in Guam and really do some muscle flexing there. Now, the government in Japan has responded immediately to this today. Fumio Kishida, the prime minister, condemning the launch, saying it's barbaric and outrageous. The Japanese government has protested to Pyongyang through its embassy at Beijing. It says that these ongoing tests are destabilizing the region. And South Korea also said that it would show a resounding show of force in response to this, and it may have done that. Reports suggesting that South Korea and the United States have joined up to conduct joint bombing drills in the area in response to the launch just this morning. Interesting, considering that Pyongyang said its original motivation for the launch was to respond to trilateral military drills by the United States, Japan, and South Korea just last week. Well, where does this leave Japan? It is securely under United States security umbrella. It does not have a military of its own, but it is talking about raising defense spending to 2% of GDP, and also potentially revisiting the constitution to potentially remilitarize Japan and create an army again. Now, these issues are not very popular with the Japanese people, who are quite anti-war, but with these ongoing tests from North Korea, it is really adding fuel to the government's argument to really pump some cash into defense and really secure Japan's place in the region. Chris Gilbert for CBC News in Tokyo.